Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So, quite often I hear the statement that people don't change. And to me, that's always been an interesting statement because essentially what it does is when you have that belief system and you believe that people aren't capable of changing, what you're actually doing is you lock yourself into a paradigm of not understanding that change is really a step-by-step process for an individual. And what happens when you start to accept that people can't change, you're also accepting that the possibility that you can't change. You see, what happens when we go into this ideology is that the ego ends up locking you into a specific mindset. And that mindset's one that I'm capable of doing things that others aren't capable of doing. You see, and early on in my journey, after I had this awakening, I changed so dramatically that it was actually undeniable that change had occurred because I wasn't even the same being. And in that, I think a lot of people from the past, what happens is they begin to project onto you because, you see, when you make changes, you generally don't fit within the story of the folks that, your friend groups, your families, the stories that they have created, and the part that you played. When you no longer choose to play that part because you have changed, then they don't want to acknowledge certain things, and so that's why a lot of times people will leave your life. But really, the important part of understanding about the statement that people can't change is also understanding yourself. You see, what you have to understand when you say that is, are you capable of change? And if you are capable of change, then other people are capable of changing. But then you also begin to become more empowered because the biggest thing in that statement that's important to understand is you. And why is it important to understand you yourself in that statement of people can't change? Because when you change, sometimes it doesn't matter if other people change. What do I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. You see, when you actually truly change, what happens is you begin to attract different things into your life. And things that once fit in your life no longer fit. And so when those things that are in your life no longer fit, they generally tend to release or move away. What happens, though, is that the former version of self, it doesn't, it has a tough time letting people go because your ego begins to judge yourself. Sometimes you begin to think, well, what's wrong with me? Why did those people leave my life? Well, when you make changes, you understand that you're becoming a different being, and in becoming a different being, you're attracting different experiences and different lessons into your life. And former people that were in your life, they may not fit within that paradigm anymore. Why do I focus on the you aspect of people don't change? I focus on the you aspect because that is the most important aspect. You see, it doesn't really matter if the people around you change. What matters is if you make the change. What matters is what you choose to accept in your life. And then you see that statement, people can't change or people don't change, evolves, it changes, it adjusts. And the reason that it does so is simple. Because it no longer matters to you whether people can, do, or will change. Because, see, you're changing. I think it's important to ponder that thought. Because what happens is we begin to have expectations around us. And we've talked about this in past videos. Why having no expectations is the best thing. You see, when you have no expectations, it opens up the possibility for new experiences to enter your life. So when that's the case, The reason it doesn't matter whether people change or not is because if they don't change, then you are the one who's going to welcome in new experiences, and then they will, begin to pull away out of your life. And if you change and they change, that's when relationships can strengthen and bond, and bonds can become stronger. I think when people hold on to relationships that they're meant to let go, they're willing to let in a whole host of experiences that maybe are not meant for them. You see, as you do change, as you do evolve, as you do take the steps to become the better version of self, you're already proving that people can change. But if you are not willing to allow in the new that you're attracting, well, then what's actually happening is you're creating the same paradigm in your life that you're saying can't happen. Because as you evolve, if you're not evolving the circumstances around you, then it appears that no change is occurring, especially in the people around you. I have hope. For me, because of the experiences that I've had, because of the extreme changes that I've experienced in my life, I have hope that people can change. Yet I don't require people to change. Why do I say that? I say that because understanding who I am and how I'm growing and how I'm evolving, I invite in and welcome in new experiences. And sometimes new experiences means new people, new friends, new relationships. And in those things, you're inviting in a whole new variety of adventures to happen in your life, you see. But in that, I still retain that hope that others can take the same journey I've taken. You see, I, for myself, if anything, I am for myself living proof that people do change. So seeing that change in me and realizing that that change can occur gives me hope and belief that that can happen for other people. Now, why is this an important thing? Why are we so focused on that statement? We're so focused on that statement because the world today appears to be very chaotic. It continues to roll into what appears to be a chaotic state. But on the spiritual journey, what you begin to understand is order comes from chaos. You cannot create and evolve order without chaos. Chaos is the catalyst that helps people, things, and the world to change. And it's important to understand this because as we begin to go through more and more chaotic experiences, if you understand that change is inevitable and that people will experience this change, in some cases, whether they want to or not, that's how the world becomes a different place. That's how the world becomes a better place. That's how we connect on a deeper level. That's how we bond on a deeper level. That's how the journey can present you and bring to you experiences, new experiences and adventures that, again, continue to work for you in helping to evolve you into who you're meant to be, to the best version of self. So, people don't change. I think that statement's clearly false. And I think when you think people don't change and you think of just one instance or one friend that you wish would change, then is it that people don't change, or is it that you're unwilling to change? That's something I think you should ponder the next time you have people in your life that you desire in your life, but don't fit within your value system, don't fit within your desires. And then at that point, I think it's time to, again, look inside and say, is it them or is it me? if they're content with who they are, and that's not something that I'm comfortable with, then why do I continue to invite that energy into my life? Something to ponder. But what say you? How do you feel about that? Do you think people can change? Do you think people are capable of evolving? I think even through history for myself, when I see us, I think there has been evolution. As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Even on this cloudy day, I am truly grateful. And until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. I hope you have the most amazing day.